Hey everybody. It's been quite a while since I've posted something, and there's reason behind that. There's a lot of story, and that's what I want to share in this video. I was laying in bed early this morning. I came to the office pretty early, but I was laying in bed. I woke up, I don't know, like 5 in the morning, and just with all this stuff going on in my mind, and I was like tears. There were tears coming out, not because of not out of sadness, but out of desire and out of longing. And I was just thinking more and more. I'd already tried doing this video before a couple times, but like more keeps developing throughout the days and the week. And I knew, I'm like, okay, let's go to the office early and let's do this. And and I noticed that even before this video, I was nervous, and I was watching videos of my cute little nephew just to get inspired and sparked and motivated. But so so I had it was last week, and then this week that I had some dreams. So the first dream last week, and I knew what they meant. I mean, I don't know if you've ever had those moments in your dreams. Like sometimes dreams can be strange and kind of, the understanding is kind of elusive and you're not quite sure. It's just bizarre. But for me, these two dreams, I knew like instantly what that meant. And so the first dream last week, I was on this golf course, and it was a golf course I've played before, and it was on the second hole. And I was on the tee box, ready to hit my drive, and this was a really short par four. I could reach the green in one if I hit it well. And for those who don't know how golf works, is par means that's how many strokes it takes from the tee box to the hole to get the ball into the hole. And so if it's a par four, it takes 4 strokes. So if you get the ball in the hole in 3 strokes, you're doing pretty good. That's called a birdie. If you go above that and you get a 5 or 6 or 7, now you're in what's called bogey territory. And that's where you start getting more frustrated in golf. That's where it has the potential for you to start breaking clubs, because you don't want a high score in golf. So I hit the ball. And I'm not quite sure. It felt like I got it on the green, and as I got closer, I think I was playing with like someone I live with, and I think my dad might have been in the dream and somebody else. And as I get close to the hole, to the green, I notice, oh yeah, my ball's on the green. In fact, I have about a 10-foot putt for something called an eagle, which is 2 under par, 2 strokes under par. So that's really good. I'm set up really well, and I'm about 10 feet. It's uphill putt. And you kind of want an uphill putt sometimes, like just slightly uphill, no issues, no little undulations or twists and turns. Like that's a good setup. So I get on the green and I'm looking down at my ball, and I'm reading it, and it's uphill and it's good, and I'm excited. But then the next scene, I look down, and now there's a curve from the ball to the hole, and there's a groove in there, and then there's rocks, like little rocks kind of getting in the way. And it went from, and I don't even know how that happened, it went from just the straight uphill putt that looked like I was gonna sink the putt there, to now it's just this big curve that seems impossible. Then the next scene happens, like that snap of the fingers. Next scene happens, and there's this undulation, this crater now between my ball and the hole, and it's like almost this rock quarry. There's now larger rocks in place, and now it's just impossible. I don't even know how I'm going to get my ball to the hole. Next scene, now I can't even find my ball, and I'm looking around, and I'm frantic, and I'm anxious, and I'm concerned about the people I'm playing with, because they're waiting for me, and I need to find my ball. And I think my dad might have been helping me in the dream, where it looked like at first I found my ball. Like I was standing where my ball originally was, and I'm looking around for it, and then he's helping me kind of with his putter sort of dig up what seems to be the ball, what ends up being a root. So I didn't even find my ball, which then intensifies the panic and the anxiousness and my concern about how other people, that they're getting impatient and frustrated. But I want to find my ball, because I had a good putt, And I could have gotten a low score, but I can't, and I feel more desperate. I feel more helpless, and so I give in to what I perceive as the impatience of other people and them waiting for me, and I give up, and I walk 20 yards back onto the fairway, drop a ball, and I drop it really kind of reluctantly, resentfully, and then I hit the shot, and it goes over the flag, over the hole, and then kind of comes back down the hill, and then I wake up from the dream. And like I said, I knew exactly what that meant. And if I were to tell my therapist this, I know he would say, in all of that imagery, because whenever I'm looking at the dream, it's easy to get lost in all the imagery and the symbolism, but really, to me, the message is in the feelings. And he would say, oh yeah, I know what that means. It's fear and desire. So then I have this other dream this week, and it's way more vivid, and it's a little bit longer. So I'm walking with a bunch of people. I don't even know who it is, but I'm with some group of people I'm familiar with. And we walk up to this gate, and it's this gate, almost kind of looks like a military base, but we need to go past this gate to get to something. There was some event that was fun and enjoyable. I don't remember what it is. And as I'm walking, the guard steps up and stops me. And he lets everybody else go. And he says, hey, do you have this to get in? And I said, well, no, but I have this. And he said, no, you've got to go back and get that. So then in the dream, I'm sprinting. So I'm sprinting. It's like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's almost like I'm kind of like float sprinting. And I end up in, I've got to rush to get to this, because I've got to get whatever I need to get so I can get back and go through the gates and go enjoy the event. And so I'm booking it, and I'm speeding through this whole little town area, and I end up in this building, and there seems to be kind of almost like a child's playground in there, like you kind of see at like a Chick-fil-A or a McDonald's or something, that indoor playground. And I'm searching for these pieces, and for some reason I need to build like a little, I don't know, Lego house, and that's my entryway into that's what I need to enter into the gates. So I'm frantically looking, and I'm building these, or looking for these pieces. Well, there ends up being this kid, probably like maybe 10 or something, and he's getting in the way. He's throwing things. He's being a bully, and he's kicking things, and I'm losing my pieces, and I'm getting more frustrated, and I'm getting more anxious, because I'm losing distance. The longer time goes, I mean, the farther away I feel from people. They're enjoying things, and I'm far away, and so all of a sudden this rage kicks in me. And I take this kid, and I throw this kid as hard as I can against the wall. And he hits the wall, and he's out cold. And I'm just panicked. I'm mortified. What did I just do? And I'm staring at this kid on the ground who's out, unconscious. And I'm not sure, did I kill him? Is he alive still? And I kind of check on him, but I'm also worried. And I think I still have the pieces that I need in my hand, but now I'm just worried. I'm looking around for everybody, and does anyone see me? What's going to happen? And so, out of fear, I then rush out, and I get out of the building, and I go hide in a crowd, and it's kind of dark outside, and I'm paranoid. I'm paranoid. I'm scared. Like, did I get caught? And I turn around and look out. There's some woman in the window who waves directly at me, and I'm thinking she knows. She knows what's happened. And again I escape into the crowd further, but I'm still living with this. I'm still terrified. And then another scene happens where it comes up in the dream, and there's people that come to see this kid, and they attend to him. And of course he wakes up, and so there's some relief in me. I'm not even in the scene, but it flashes to that scene. But then I'm worried, oh my, he's gonna say who did this to him. So I ducked in the crowd. The next scene flashes, and I'm now like in this kayak, and I pull up to this dock, and I'm with my uncle, one of my mom's brothers, and he and I are on this dock with a couple other people, and it's this floating dock, and it's not tethered to anything. And then one of the guys ends up doing something kind of funny and silly, and like flips the dock over, and we lose everything, keys, wallet, phone. And then next thing I feel is like I'm alone and kind of adrift from them, and I'm searching for my stuff first because I need to get that. And meanwhile, they're together collaborating and trying to find stuff and kind of having fun in the process. But I'm, and then I get my things, I find my things, feel relief, and I go and try and connect and help them, but I feel far away. Dream ends. Pretty amazing. And so once again, even though it was a bit longer in the dream, there were the themes: fear, loneliness, anger, and desire. And so I don't know if you've ever had these moments in your life where things just start flowing in you. Things are coming up and you're making connections and things are starting to be, pieced together. And it for me right now, it feels like I'm on a freeway. Like I'm on a freeway and all this stuff is just zipping by me. And I'm trying to stop it. I'm trying to slow things down and kind of create some cohesion here and make sense of it. Like create a little caravan instead of things just flying by me. So if it seems like I'm kind of all over the place in the video, I'm trying not to be. So all of this relates to this whole creative process that's been going on in over a month. And I set out to make videos, and I made a lot of videos. I made a lot of the same videos, and because I re-recorded things over and over and over again. And what's interesting is what I set out to do. And what I hope to do, because I think I said in that last video, like all this activity was coming up in my head, but I was scared to put it out there, and the same thing continued in all this process. I made all of this stuff, talked about all these things that I enjoyed talking about, but there's been all this fear. And yet there's been desire, and yet there's been these experiences of helplessness and then hopelessness, and I don't know if any of you cook, but I like to cook, and it's a creative outlet for me, or was in the past. But if you've ever made burgers before, the issue why you have like a chewy burger is because you've overworked the meat too much. You have to just work it just enough to where you mix whatever in there, but it's not overworked to the point where now it's just like, it feels like you're eating like some tough steak. There's another thing too that I used to make gnocchi. Gnocchi is that like potato dough dumpling. And it's the same thing. It's not fragile, but you have to kind of tenderly work the dough and the cooked potato together, because if you overwork it, then once again, it's going to lose that kind of fluffy plumpness. Well, that's kind of what this feels like with this whole video making process. Is like I've re-recorded things like sometimes up to a dozen times, to where I lose the genuineness. I lose just the heartfelt experience that comes through me, because once again, it's driven by fear. And fear is what? Fear is about the external. It's about how people are going to react. And in fact, I was working with a client a couple days ago, and as I'm helping him in his process, I'm sharing with him my own process. I'm like, we're in the same boat here, because this person lives in fear. For me, fear overtakes me. And I said, think about this. If you took everyone out of the world, what would you be afraid of? You probably wouldn't be afraid if you're walking out like of a tree falling on you, or some car crash or anything, because there's no one in the world. Like, you're not probably afraid of other things in nature, because we're afraid of people, and we're afraid of what? Of judgment, of not mattering, of, I'm saying that from a distance. I'm scared of that, right? But in the midst of that, there's all this desire, this longing, this wanting to connect, this wanting to experience life. But the more that fear overtakes me, the more helpless I feel, and the more hopeless I become. And so as I've been going through this whole recording, creating process, having conversations with people, my own therapists, friends, it's become even clearer what is going on in me. And what's become clearer is just how scared I am of the outside world. And that's not anything new. That's just me realizing this in a more, with more awareness, that this has been living in me since I was young. And even as I've been processing all this specific content, now I'm even seeing, as I realize when I make videos, like I'm talking for myself. I'm sharing this for myself. Yeah, I'm putting it out there in the world and I hope to make impact in some way, but like this is me working this stuff out. And because that's just part of me. I like to explore things in my life and explore experiences. Uh, and and I lost my train of thought right there. So anyway, so as I'm working, oh, that was it. Because as I'm working this out, I'm starting to see this is all this content is for me. This is teaching me. This is showing me what is going on inside myself. Because literally, honestly, just with this whole recording process and the fear, like, I mean, there's been frustration, discouragement, excitement, giddiness, I mean, this thrill, and then mixed with, like, there's been a couple times, one in particular, where I fell into a depression because I just, like, I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't this. It wasn't, because, and there'll be moments where I'll see myself in the video. I'm like, oh gosh, I need to go shave, and I'll go shave. Oh man, I need to go buzz my head. So I go buzz my head. I'll bring a change of shirts, just to see which one looks better on me. I'll, and then, over analyzing. Am I eloquent enough? Am I saying things clearly? Is it comprehensible? Like, oh man, I said that. Is that going to be offensive? Is that going to be unclear? Are people going to be bored? Or I mean, like, this is what goes on. And to the point where, yeah, of course it creates a depression, because it, like, I've become so absorbed into the outside world of how are people going to respond. But really the driving part of that is like, man, I want to be connected. And two, man, I want to matter. And three, I want to make impact. And so as I was jotting some things down, I was also thinking about, like, man, there's been things in my life where I've taken these amazing risks. 2 years ago, as I mentioned in the video, I changed my life. I closed my practice. I said goodbye to everyone and went out in the world in the unknown. And it was some of the greatest freedom I'd ever experienced. I mean, just being alone and getting up and, like, am I going to stay here? No, I'm going to go. And I leave the desert and I go and travel and I go up in the mountains and I go, incredible experiences even with conversations with people. But it was also some of the greatest loneliness, or at least it even exposed that place in me, that loneliness that had lived in me for a long time. And there were times where, it was so lonely that there was a desperation, or there was, but I didn't know what to do with it. There was some moment, gosh, there was one I forget, but there was one in particular where, the loneliness, it was, I don't know if it was like the peak feeling of that, but it was pretty strong. It was pretty intense, where I was in Nashville and it was probably the second night in Nashville, and I go to this park, and it's at night, and there's this volleyball court, and it's all lit up, and there's people just playing and having fun, and I'm there in the shadows like a creeper, just staring, like, oh my gosh, like, look at them having fun, and then, like, kind of wanting to go there, but then being scared to just go and do it and say that, or just kind of invite myself in and say, hey, can I play with you guys? And so but this has been this theme in my life where there's this fear, there's this desire, and the fear keeps me stuck. And it makes sense too why I've been sometimes so pissed off, like, just so angry, and I don't even know why I'm angry. Like, I'm angry, I'm judging people, and in one moment I'm feeling like superior than people, and then other moments I'm feeling inferior, but, like, so I'm judging myself or I'm judging other people, but either way it's like I'm just pissed off. And my therapist was pointing this out more and more in the session I just had, where it's like there's an edge here still, Ben. There's anger there when you talk about this stuff. And realize, like, yeah, because I'm terrified. I'm shaking underneath all of this, and so to speak. And when I was out there on the road, there would be these moments where I was so lost and wondering what I was doing, where I was going, and what did this all mean. And aside from, yeah, I'm going out traveling, I'm seeing things, but there was always this missing piece. Like, what is this all for? I mean, what am I getting out of this? I mean, sure, I'm enjoying it, and there was incredible moments, and I loved it, and it was adventure, and I needed that, and it got me away from things, and started seeking and discovering other stuff. But there was also this like ache in me, and there were moments sometimes where I was just looping, not, I wouldn't say there were moments, there were a lot of times where I was just looping my head and I was revisiting things and revisiting past moments of things I didn't say and wish I did and with people. And and sometimes sometimes out of those moments I'd have this reaction of, God, you know what would be just so satisfying, where I think I'd feel peace, is if I just bought like a shack in West Virginia, just with a lot of land, and then I would just write. You know, I just isolate myself, just quarantine myself from the rest of the world, and I'll just write, and then I'll put that stuff out there in the world, and it'll be brilliant, and people will love it. And on occasion, I'll come out and come to the local bar or something, get a drink. I mean, basically, I was like, I'm just gonna be one of those like hermit famous writers, and that's it. But really, it was this reaction again. It was all driven by this fear of being out there in the world. And what was discovered in my session with my therapist, several days ago, was like, the world of connecting is the scary place for me. And it's this unknown place, because yeah, I can go out and I can do hikes, and I can go and I can do, these amazing things and overcome a lot of stuff that I've done. And yet the one thing that terrifies me the most is people and connecting with people. Now, I have friends and I connect with those people, and it's familiar to me, but I'm talking about, what I'm realizing was like, but I'm talking about unfamiliar things. I'm talking about going out and finding things that I enjoy, like dancing or art or I don't know, working out in some way, or just certain things that, like, but in connection with people. And it was also interesting to me that when I thought about, before I even considered coming back to the field, when I was wondering, well, okay, what am I going to do now with my life? Because I didn't know if I was going to ever come back and see and see clients again. And I started thinking, okay, well, certain jobs out there. Okay, and the one of the jobs that appealed to me was a mailman or mail carrier or whatnot. And because I loved walking and being outdoors, and I loved like listening to just podcasts and music, and I liked just being by myself. I was like, okay, well, you don't even interact with people that much. Like, that sounds good. And I realized, but that is already how I live. Well, of course, that's what I desired, but it still was this distance between me and people. And then another one was a janitor, because I love the idea of just like, I'm just sweeping, again, listening to things, just cleaning, because I like to clean, and there's something kind of therapeutic and peaceful about that. And I like the repetition. But once again, it was isolated, unless I was working with a bunch of janitors and we're all, having fun and partying. And I don't know if janitors do that, but again, it was picking something, once again, that was isolated. There was one other thing. Oh yeah, even like a landscaper, because I love the outdoors. And sometimes where I live, I'll drive by some of these places and these private communities, and oh man, they're gorgeous. And I'm thinking, man, that'd be so cool to just go and like mow the lawn, trim hedges in those areas. But again, it was always about me being by myself. So here I am, drawn to this field of connecting with people, but even that can be isolating, because I'm there for them, right? Even though I'm enjoying this and I love this and I get something from this, it's not a mutual connection. I'm there being with them, guiding them to help them find themselves. And so now it's like, and I realized this in grad school a long time ago, when I told my professor, I said, it clicked for me that, like, we're helping people find their life, but that also means that we also need to live ours. I need to live mine. And what does that look like for me? Well, there's all these desires in me that I don't go and do because I'm scared. And and I'm smiling because I'm laughing at myself, because this is like, I love that I get to see this. I really do, because there's this change that is taking place in me, and being able to see this with greater clarity. I love this, but I've also got to take action. And I told a friend, because I reached out to a lot of friends this week, and I told a friend a couple days ago. We went out, we went and got a beer together, and I was telling him, I said, it feels like I'm staring, like I'm in this like house or something, and I'm staring out the window watching people have fun in life and feeling like I can't. And I loved his response. If you knew my friend, like I wish I could capture the way he says it in his little style, and his tone and all that. He goes, "Well, just put on shoes and come out." And I just laughed, because it's like, oh my God, it is. It's that easy. It really is in that way. I mean, fear makes it more complicated and overwhelming and scarier and impossible, but like, it really is. It is. And then there was another thing that came up too, because again, as I said, like all this stuff I'm piecing together. I remember being at my chiropractor. This was months ago, and he gets these, like, Sacramento magazines or Sacktown magazines. I love looking at those because I love seeing what's kind of new, and especially like new restaurants and what's popping up in the area. Well, there was this article on this, like, I think they were husband and wife, and they had opened up some like vegan, vegetarian place or whatnot, and it was like this picture, like the lighting was beautiful, and they were this attractive looking couple, and they had this restaurant that they opened up, and that was a cool looking restaurant, and they had something they were passionate about. And I felt in myself this sadness, and I felt that even when I go on long walks where I live in the Granite Bay Area. I'll go on long walks, and I'll see these homes. I'm like, oh my God, I love these homes. I want a home like this. And then I'll imagine these scenarios where, man, and they're probably having people over, and they're cooking this beautiful rib roast together or something, and they're bringing wine, and God, and they're just relaxing out on like the deck together in their house. And with that other couple, I was even thinking, like, man, I wonder what I bet they're like own a mid-century, really nice mid-century home in East Sac, and it's probably furnished with, like, Swedish mid-century furniture. Obviously, these are all my desires, but again, this sadness. And when I went went on a walk with a friend the other day, and I was telling him all this stuff, like the sadness comes up, and he hit the nail on the head. Like it just made it even clearer. He said, "Oh, like it's unattainable for you," and I'm like, absolutely, that's exactly what it is. So this process, this whole creative process, and connecting with people and having these conversations and these dreams have been showing all of this stuff, all this that has been living in me, and over the years, I mean, my whole life, most of my life. And now I'm seeing this in greater clarity. Oh my God, this is why I don't just hit a record button and just put whatever I say, however long it is, and just put it out there in the world. Because I'm worried, like, it's got to be short, it's got to be concise, it's got to be quick. I've got to be like this guy that makes cool cocktails and walks around in bare feet and has a little kind of twang in his voice, and he's funny, and I've got to be like that. Or I've got to, be like those teenage pop stars on TikTok and do some cool dance moves, and I've got to do that. But it makes so much sense of like why I've like judged people and then judged myself, and have felt something missing, and then I retreat from the world, because, as my therapist said, then that's easier for you. And it's not, because it's not painful all the time. I enjoy it. I like the solitary lifestyle at times, but then it gets to me. Then I feel agitated. Then I feel restless. Then I feel, and then there are these moments where, like, sometimes, like, I'm on the internet and I'm like on eBay, or I'm looking for like some of the clothing brands that I really like, and I'm like, okay, I'm looking for something like that, because sometimes I'll do that. Like I'll looking for something to excite me that stands out to me, and I'll buy it, and I'll get all excited about it, but then it goes away, right? And then I'm looking for something more, because really what's beyond what is the desire in that, the drive in that is, one, I want connection, and I want excitement, and adventure and that unknown. Of course, it's wired in me, right? It's probably wired in most of us, is like this hunger for the unknown, for risk, to grow, for novelty, for connection with people, for laughter, for pleasure, for joy. It's like all that stuff that I've experienced in my life off and on, but then it goes away. And then I turn into the kind of the Charlie Brown slump shoulder, melancholic kind of place where I'm heavy, and then I feel this kind of this entrapment, or this I feel trapped and stuck. And so what a time this has been, coming back in the field where I'm learning this, and clients are inadvertently teaching this through me, and conversations with people where I'm waking up and seeing this stuff in myself. And to go back to this whole recording, video making process, is that I've learned along the way, in the anxiousness, when I'm getting outside myself and I'm thinking about other people and how they respond and what do they want to hear and what's going to light them up. And then I come back and I'm like, whoa, hang on, Ben. Because that turns into urgency and panic and anxiety. And what is it that I want to talk about? What is it that excites me? What is it that brings me pleasure? And then I'll find it, and then I'll lose it again, then I'll find it, then I'll lose it again, then I'm on the floor staring up at the ceiling, wondering, having an existential crisis, and then I find it again, and then I'm in a depression, then I find it again, and I'm like backing off and like, go do something else. But all the while, there's this urgency, or not urgency, there's this restlessness in me. Come on, just do it. God damn it, just do it, man. And even what I realized even more so, I think the other day, a couple days ago, when I was in my office, was, whoa, not just what excites me. I want to talk about, in the field and in other things in my life, what I love. And that, I don't know why it was, but that word somehow made it, just elucidated things even more so. Like, whoa, yeah, because there's a lot of things that I might enjoy talking about and within the field, but like, what is it that I love? What is it that I love specifically within the field when it comes to connecting with clients? What is it that I'm learning that excites me, that I love, that I want to make sense for myself and share that with people? Coming from that place, and like, I don't know what it is about that particular word, but that it did something to me. And so yes, I'm saying right now, it's almost like one of those videos, like, if you get this video, like, let everyone know I love them, or if what's the word, like, I forget, or I'm still alive kind of thing. I forget the, like, it's been in movies and stuff, but like, but I'm saying this to myself in this video, that if you're getting this video, this is the first video. I didn't re-record this a million times. Like, this is number one. This is not number 30 video. And because I want this to just be what it is, and put it out there. And I love this. I love that in life, like, that we have this movement, this stirring within us, and we get to go after that. We get to go after what we love and desire. And sometimes, we have situations, external situations, that it's hard to find that. But man, I'll tell you what, like, I love that. I love being able to see this stuff. I love being able to wake up to this stuff. And what a journey it's been in the last month and a half, and since I've come back, that really, like, this is me waking up to what I desire. And this is me waking up to going after life, and not taking the easy route, because it's easy to just be by myself. And of course I want those in moments, but I want those in moments because I enjoy them, not because I'm retreating from life, because I think I see that that's been often kind of an unconscious thing in myself. Oh, that was the other thing. One last thing is, in addition, I remembered, I was talking to my mom the other day about a couple of things, and I remembered this was like, I don't know, maybe it was a decade ago or something. It was New Year's Eve. And sometimes in those times, like those particular times, like, loneliness will kick up, and I'll kind of retreat and turn into like Eeyore. So there was this, so this particular New Year's Eve, some friends had reached out, like someone had called me, in a friend group, and most of my friends are married, and they were married back then at the time. And I get this call, and it's like, oh yeah, Ben, we forgot to invite you, but yeah, come with us. We're going to this like 1930s themed party, and down in Sacramento, and this like resentment, anger came out of me. It was like, you forgot me, like, and I'm like, I'm not even gonna return their call. Oh my God, I'm embarrassed to even say this. And I'm gonna stick it to them, and kind of thing. And I'm not even gonna. And I mean, eventually, I think I reached out and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna come, because I was already in this like kind of sunken, sullen, disappointed place, and hurt place, and I was kind of angry. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna make them suffer. Of course, they weren't suffering; they were having fun. But in my mind, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'm causing pain, because I'm not, I'm not going. I'm gonna show them. And so I ended up driving up. If you're in the area and you're watching, I ended up driving up Sierra College Boulevard, and there's kind of there's a spot up there on the hill where you can look out. So I go, because I'm just gonna be alone, and I go and I park, and I go for a walk, and I stare off in the distance, and there's downtown Sacramento, and you see the fireworks, and I'm just sitting there, just staring at the fireworks alone, while my friends are, probably inebriated, having fun, enjoying life, and I don't know if it was at that point. I don't know if it was then. And eventually I walk back, I get in my car, I go back, and oh, that was the other thought that I had too, because I thought, well, I'm not going to go, because it's probably all a bunch of married couples. I'm just going to feel alone. It's just going to turn out with just another thing of disappointment. I'm just going to feel disappointed. So I think it was probably the next day. It might have been that night, and it hit me. What are you doing, Ben? Like, what? Like, maybe it might be. I might feel disappointed, but at least I'd rather not imagine that's how it's gonna turn out, and not live life. Then like, I'd rather not go that route than what am I saying? Like, I'd rather go and experience. Maybe it might be disappointed. Maybe I might be alone. Maybe I might be a wallflower, with my 1930s outfit or whatnot, and think that I stand out like a sore thumb. Maybe I'll go for 10 minutes and then leave. I don't know. But at least I'd rather have gone and tried and experienced than to have never experienced before, or at all. And but to sit up on a hill, which now that I said that, I'm like, oh my God, it just flashed on me that, like, I remember watching Winnie the Pooh, and there was Eeyore. Oh my God, there was Eeyore on the hill, and he was alone. And I remember I think I was 5 years old watching that at the time, and I cried. I just cried. It was obviously a kindred spirit. My mom came in from her little family gathering outside, because I was wailing, because I was just so in pain and empathetic, and experiencing Eeyore like I was, and I was feeling what he was feeling, and he was representing what I was feeling in my own life. So anyway, it just dawned on me that here I was now in my, I think, probably late 20s, on a hill all alone, watching fireworks in a forlorn place. I find that really funny. So anyway, yeah. So I love that I get to see this. I love that I'm seeing this. I love that I have people in my life that are sharing their experience of me. And yeah, in the past I would get defensive, and because I'd feel like there's something wrong with me, and like they were judging me. But really, like, I see now it's coming from a place of care, and really they're being honest with me and caring, because they want me to be me. Oh man, they want me to be me and experience like my aliveness, and that's what I want, and I love that. And these tears are about that moves me, and that, yeah, we there's freedom in this life, and freedom is from judgment and from fear, and we get to go after life and experience it, and enjoy it, and imbibe in it, and indulge in it. My voice cracked as I was talking right now, and I love it. So anyway, before I ramble on a little more, that's it for now. So clearly you'll be seeing more of me, and I'll be putting stuff out there. So thanks for listening, and thanks for your feedback at times. And yeah, that's it. Take care.